Welcome back to Broader Financial Future, aka BFF, to all my future millionaires out there. And if you're an AT&T shareholder or you're thinking about buying AT&T stock, you don't want to miss today's video. So grab your popcorn and stay tuned. And just a disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. This video is strictly for entertainment purposes only, and any investment may involve risks, so make sure you do your own homework. Now let's jump into today's video. So we have some big news coming out of AT&T. AT&T, they're going to merge their WarnerMedia with Discovery. Now this is big news because WarnerMedia and Discovery are going to combine, operate, and create basically a new business. And the head of that is going to be David Zaslav. He's going to be the CEO. So this is really big when it comes to being an AT&T shareholder, because for me, I love that AT&T has HBO Max. I love the growth of HBO Max. But AT&T, if this merger goes through, will no longer be a part of WarnerMedia. WarnerMedia and Discovery are going to create a whole new company, which is going to be really big when it comes to streaming services. So when I look at some of the highlights of this deal is, less than 3 years ago, AT&T paid a whopping $85 billion to acquire Time Warner, aka WarnerMedia. Now they're planning on basically spinning it off into its own company that's going to merge with Discovery. Now this move joins household name media brands such as WarnerMedia's HBO, CNN, with Discovery's HGTV, Animal Planet, and the Food Network, just to name a few. And all these brands are going to be in the same house, especially when it comes to these streaming wars. Things are definitely looking like it's basically steaming up, because now you have Netflix, you have Disney, who has Hulu, they have Disney Plus under their umbrella, and they also have ESPN Plus. Now with this combination, you're getting Discovery, HBO Max. So when it comes to the streaming wars, things are definitely heating up between all these streaming services. Now, the newly combined merger would form one of the largest global streaming platforms, and they're definitely going to be a direct competition with Netflix and Amazon. Now, I definitely didn't see this coming, but this is definitely big news, especially being an AT&T shareholder. Now, proceeds from this deal will go towards paying down a considerable debt load of more than $160 billion. Yes, $160 billion in debt. All I want is a couple of million, and they have $160 billion in debt, which will help because soon AT&T is going to be a pure telecom play to really build out their 5G network. So basically, like Verizon, they're just going to really, instead of being in the streaming wars, they're just going to focus on the 5G wars. So they're definitely really building their infrastructure when it comes to 5G in their telecom business, and also paying down their huge debt. And a lot of that debt is because of the acquisition of WarnerMedia, in addition to DirecTV, which basically within the last few months they spun off as well. So they're definitely unloading a lot of things that don't really fit with their company moving forward. Now, AT&T is set to receive $43 billion in a combination of cash, debt, securities, and WarnerMedia retention of certain debt. Yes, this deal, basically they lost money on this Warner deal. They bought it for $85 billion, and they're essentially getting $43 billion when it comes to this particular deal. Not a great investment, but it is what it is. Now, what does that mean as a dividend investor? So even looking further into this merger, unfortunately it looks like they may cut their dividend, because AT&T said it expects an annual dividend payout ratio of 40 to 43%. From more than $2 billion of expected free cash flow. So that basically implies a payout of between $8 and $8.6 billion to its shareholders. Now that will represent a steep drop from the current $15 billion AT&T paid in dividends in 2020, when free cash flow, or the cash left over after operating costs and capital investments. So essentially, we may be looking at a reduction in 50% in dividends to a yield of 4%. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but that may happen when this merger takes place, estimated around 2022. So that's some of the bad news with this merger. As a dividend investor, we may see a loss in the amount of dividends that are being paid out, but that's a long ways off. But it's something to be aware of and actually keep an eye on, because things are definitely fluid. Just like this merger, there was talks of Toby Emmerich floating the idea of going to Netflix. So that was the first hint. He's actually the chair at currently for the Warner Brothers Picture Division. So when he was floating the idea of trying to go to Netflix, it just seemed odd. But now we know why he was trying to jump ship, because he probably knew this was going to take place and this is happening. So they just kind of sprung that on us, and it looks like it's here. That's the bad news when it comes to this merger. We may see a reduction, but 4% yield is still a good yield. Hopefully this will help increase the stock value by lowering their debt, because that debt is huge. So that's a big deal. But on a positive note, it looks like once they're done with the transaction, as an AT&T shareholder, Discovery shareholders will get 29% of the new company, which is not named yet. Looking into the numbers and the information that's out now, it looks like the Pfizer and Viatris deal, or the Pfizer merger, when they spun off Upjohn, it looks like last year Pfizer gave us a company of Viatris for being a shareholder. It looks like if this deal takes place, being a shareholder of AT&T, when a merger takes place, we'll get a piece of the new company as well. We'll still be in a streaming business, just under this new entity or company that's coming out, and hopefully it does really well. So this is definitely groundbreaking news. It kind of comes to me as a shock, because I thought HBO Max was doing well, but I guess the synergy between HBO Max and Discovery is a better fit than HBO Max and AT&T. Because what's going to happen is this is going to create one of the largest library of content with 200,000 hours of video content. Basically, they're going to have DC, TBS, TNT, Sesame Street, Scooby-Doo, all these different brands under one roof. So basically you're combining the number one TV studio by revenue and volume and top 2 movie studio by box office 11 of the last 12 years. And since they're definitely trying to do the global expansion, this is a good time for them to kind of get on board and just do that together. And that's pretty much all I have for you right now. Let me know, do you own AT&T? And do you think this is a good thing for AT&T shareholders? Do you think this is going to bring value to AT&T shares? What are your overall thoughts about the whole merger with WarnerMedia and Discovery? And don't forget to like. It really helps out the channel, and subscribe. And until next time, everybody, peace.